Hey guys, so we've been doing the tutorial series and we've done a bunch of Clapton. Helixes can be really easy, and all they are is an extension on the Clapton build itself. So we're going to kind of get into a Helix build really quick. Let's go ahead and dive in here for just a minute. If you can see the table in front of me, that's great. If not, we'll kind of we'll get down into it. But what I got in front of me basically is a set of tools and the wire that I'll be using just in this build. This is just the Helix. I got a tape measure for those of you that are paying attention to the amount of wire that you're using. So get that one out of the way. Nylon jaw pliers in case you got to straighten wire out. We will not be using these 99% in this case, so we're going to get these out of the way. Okay. I've got the hardcore, like I'm going to go be an electrician. Hi, Jerry. Wire cutters. I've got regular needle nose pliers. I've also got the screwdriver that I'm going to wrap all the wire around when I make the coil itself. In my case, this is a 3mm screwdriver because that's kind of where I like my stuff at. I've got the little bitty, I'm going to make jewelry, small wire cutters for flush cutting. I use these normally for the smaller gauge stuff because it really gives me a really sharp cut. The big ones, like the electricians use, they tend to get really dull and they don't get in where the tight wire needs to be, like on the 34 gauge and smaller. So I like to have these handy. Also, I've got my I've got the wonderful ceramic tweezers that my wife customized, if you can see that. They're kind of chunked off on one side. So these are a one-of-a-kind item. No, you can't have them. So if you've been around long enough, this is an old school coil jig. I kind of customized part of it because stuff broke here and there. But basically all this is a 510 connector into a single solid block of aluminum. Here. Yay. This is actually a Mephisto with the Mutation V1 cap. It screws right on there. Guess what? If I snap a solid block of aluminum, I don't care. It doesn't matter. That thing was about 10 bucks. It's probably a whole lot cheaper now. Just that you have an ohm reader handy. Please don't trust your mod, no matter how many times you've used it. Now, mainly for a core, we're going to use 26 gauge nichrome 80. This is your main core wire. You're going to make a single Clapton with a single core. That's going to get wrapped with 34 gauge nichrome 80. Okay. Long story short, we are then going to twist that up with 24 gauge. In this case, I happen to have Canthal A1. Different company. Sorry, I kind of screwed up the label. I was trying to mess with stuff. 2 strands of 30 gauge Canthal A1. Okay, this is a really complex build until you break it down. Basically, long story short, we're going to make a Clapton. We're going to twist in another strand of wire. We are going to lay into the grooves that we create by twisting that wire 2 strands of a small gauge wire. That's it. Okay guys, we're back. I forgot to mention one tool that's going to come into play here. That's obviously your drill. I didn't mention it, so sorry. Also, for those of you that don't have a battery drill, if you want to do this with a corded drill, what I would suggest is just lay that thing down. You're getting the same crap out of it anyway. Don't worry about it. The catch with a drill, if you're going to buy a drill, you need to be 2 things. 1, it has to be variable speed. Okay, that is an absolute key. Number 2, it's got to be reversible. So anyway, long story short, what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out some 26 gauge wire, and at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and set it up since we've seen it already. And I'm going to Clapton this entire thing out with 34 gauge wire.
go.
Alright, so back into this right here. I've got my 26 gauge Clapton over 34, and I've got my 24 gauge set right next to it. By the way, the 24 gauge set right next to it is only because they're roughly the same diameter, and you could put anything in here you wanted. Really doesn't even matter. Basically, we're going to take these out to the end, get them very, very far out on the end, clamp them down, and all we're going to do is twist these up. I'll show you what this comes out to against the ruler here when I get done with it. You can see exactly how tight that twist is, because it does get pretty damn tight, and you'll understand why if you ever get to vape one of these. This is your Helix. You're going to move pretty quick. On this one here, you want to make sure that you're going on the opposite side of your, I normally do it when I'm wrapping these. I do it on the single strand that doesn't have the Clapton on it, but basically it's the same thing. You only have two wires stuck together. So, the catch with this is you want to be leading. Okay, my wire's all the way up here, my hand's all the way out here. I'm an inch or better ahead of. You want to be hitting that groove the entire way through. So when I start this, I'm going to let my hand pull up to it without letting it slide through my fingers, and then as it grabs, I'm going to let my fingers slide along the wire. So here's the general idea, and yes, we run this slow. This one, when you get to this point, this is a matter of doing it right. Now about the opposite side of the side that you just helixed, I normally try to helix around the single standing wire. You know, not the one that you've clapped in just recently. You want to lead it on an angle a little bit and pull out with it. I do these slowly on purpose because they're a whole lot easier to get right the first time than they are to fix. So, just walk with this wire and let it bite, let it run. Okay, so there basically is what you would call a Clapton Helix. Basically, I've got two 6-inch pieces done here. That's enough for one coil on each side of the RDA. Not that exciting. But basically, wrap a Clapton, twist it with another wire, and helix something. It really throws flavor. The flavor is absolutely insane, ridiculously sharp. The ramp up time is great. So yeah, if you're interested in trying something like this and you have some problems, please let me know. Love y'all. We see you next time.